Picture this. Your co-worker just took all the credit for your hard work. You feel that hot, blinding rage building in your chest, your hands balling into fists. Your first instinct? It's probably to explode, to call them out, to do something you'll almost definitely regret. The injustice feels heavy, and every fiber of your being wants to react with pure, unfiltered anger. But what if, in that critical moment, you could tap into an ancient power? A tool that could diffuse that rage and let you respond not with weakness, but with a calm, strategic force. What if you had the power to stay in control in any situation, turning emotional chaos into a source of strength? The ancient Stoics, philosophers like the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, the playwright Seneca, and the former slave Epictetus, believed this power wasn't just for sages and emperors. They taught that mastering your emotions is a skill, one that's available to anyone willing to practice it. This isn't about becoming a robot or suppressing how you feel. Not at all. It's about understanding your emotions, running them through the filter of reason, and then choosing how you act. Today, we're diving into 6 of their most essential and practical rules. These aren't just abstract ideas. They are concrete tools you can start using the moment this video is over. They are the keys to building what the Stoics called an inner citadel, a fortress inside yourself that no external event can ever break through. If you find value in this philosophy, take a second to like this video. It really helps spread these powerful ideas to others who might need them. Now, let's begin. Rule 1. Act according to your values, not your moods. All right, rule number 1 is the foundation for everything else. Act based on your values, not your fleeting moods. The Stoics championed 4 cardinal virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. They believed that a good, flourishing life comes from living by these virtues, no matter what emotional storm is brewing inside you. Let's go back to that meeting room. That rage you're feeling is a powerful mood. It's screaming for a fight right now. It wants you to expose your coworker, to get that sweet taste of public revenge. But a Stoic would tell you to pause and check that impulse against your core values. Ask yourself, does screaming and shaming them align with my value of justice, or does it just feed my anger? Does a public meltdown show courage, or does it just show a lack of self-control? Your mood wants a quick, messy fight. Your values demand a smarter approach. A response rooted in the virtue of justice might be to calmly collect proof of your work. It might be to have a private, firm conversation with that coworker, or to show your manager your contributions with undeniable evidence, not with rage. This response isn't passive. It's strategic, it's powerful, and it keeps your character intact. As Seneca warned, once passion takes over, reason is out the door. By choosing virtue over mood, you aren't suppressing your anger. You're channeling its energy into something constructive, dignified, and way more effective. Here is your actionable step for this rule. Take 5 minutes today and write down 3 to 5 of your non-negotiable core values. Maybe it's integrity, discipline, or compassion. Next time a powerful emotion pushes you to react, just pause and ask, which action aligns with my values? Let that be your compass, not the storm of the moment. Rule 2. Focus only on what's in your control. Rule number 2 is maybe the most famous Stoic idea of all time, known as the dichotomy of control. The philosopher Epictetus put it with beautiful simplicity. Some things are within our power, while others are not. What's in our power? Our own opinions, our motivations, our desires, and our actions. What's not? Pretty much everything else. What other people think, the economy, the weather, and even the final outcome of our efforts. So much of our anxiety and frustration comes from one simple mistake: trying to control the uncontrollable. Think about the fury that ignites when someone cuts you off in traffic. You're getting angry about an external event you had zero control over. Or the anxiety of waiting for a call back after a job interview. You're torturing yourself over a decision that's now entirely in someone else's hands. The Stoic practice is to ruthlessly sort things into these two columns. In our co-worker scenario, you can't control their lack of integrity. You can't control whether other people believe them at first. You definitely can't control their character. Wasting your energy there will only make you feel bitter and powerless. But what can you control? You control your response. You control your choice to stay professional and gather the facts. You control the effort you put into your next project to make your value undeniable. You control whether you let this incident poison you or if you use it as a lesson. By shifting your focus entirely to what you can control, you move from a place of helpless anger to one of proactive power. Here is your actionable step. Grab a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. On the left, write, "In my control." On the right, "Not in my control." The next time you feel stressed or upset, take 1 minute and list the parts of the situation in their columns. Then, mentally cross out the entire right side and refuse to give it any more of your energy. Focus only on the left. It's a simple act, but it's liberating. Rule 3. Cultivate inner tranquility, apatheia. Rule 3 sounds a little intimidating, but trust me, it's incredibly practical. It's about cultivating what the Stoics called apatheia. Now don't let the word fool you. This gets mistranslated as apathy all the time, which is totally wrong. Apatheia is better understood as a state of inner tranquility or emotional balance, a freedom from being jerked around by irrational passions. It's not about feeling nothing, it's about not being a slave to what you feel. Your initial flash of anger at your coworker? The Stoics would say that's a natural, involuntary first impression. The real problem, and the real opportunity, is what you do next. Do you agree with that anger? Do you buy into its irrational judgment that this is a catastrophe, my career is over, this is unbearable? Apatheia is what you build by questioning those automatic judgments. When you're stuck in traffic and feeling that road rage bubble up, the first impression is, this is ruining my day. The Stoic practice is to challenge that thought. Is it truly a catastrophe, or just an inconvenience? Is my entire day ruined, or just these 15 minutes? And is raging in my car helping at all? By inserting that moment of questioning, you create distance from the emotion. You see it for what it is, an initial signal, not the absolute truth. You can acknowledge the feeling of frustration without letting it hijack your entire state of mind. Here is your actionable step. Practice emotional labeling. The next time you feel a strong negative emotion, just name it without judgment. Say to yourself, this is anger, or this is anxiety. Then separate the feeling from the story your mind is telling. I am feeling anxiety. The story is that I will fail this presentation. By separating the raw feeling from the narrative, you take back your power of judgment. Rule 4. Ask, is this necessary? Our fourth rule is a simple but powerful question for cutting through the noise in your life. It comes straight from the private journal of Marcus Aurelius, who constantly asked himself about his thoughts and actions. Is this necessary? He wrote, most of what we say and do is not essential. If you can eliminate it, you'll have more time and more tranquility. This applies directly to our emotions, because so much of our mental chaos is churned up by non-essential worries. Think about the endless scroll on social media, absorbing the highlight reels of other people's lives and feeling that pang of envy or inadequacy. Is it necessary? What about the energy wasted on office gossip or complaining about things you can't change anyway? Is that necessary? When you start using this filter, you realize how much of your mental and emotional bandwidth is being eaten up by things that add zero value to your life. Every moment you spend on something inessential is a moment you can't spend on what actually matters: your family, your work, your health, your personal growth. Cutting out the non-essential creates space. It reduces the number of triggers that can spark negative emotions. When you say no to a pointless meeting, you're not just saving an hour, you're preserving the mental energy you would have spent being bored or frustrated. When you refuse to get into a pointless argument online, you're actively protecting your inner peace. Here is your actionable step. For one day, try a necessity check. Before you do any task, especially one you know might drain you, ask yourself, is this truly necessary for my work, my well-being, or my duties to others? Be ruthless. You'll be stunned by how many things we do out of sheer habit, not actual need. Saying no to the inessential is a powerful way to say yes to your own tranquility. Rule 5. Pause between stimulus and response. The fifth rule is all about creating a space where wisdom can show up. The Stoics taught that between the stimulus, the event that happens, and your response, there is a gap. In that little gap lies your freedom and power to choose how you'll act. Most of us live with almost no gap at all. The insult comes, the angry reply flies out. The bad news hits, the panic immediately sets in. The psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl captured this idea perfectly centuries later. He said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." That pause is the secret. It's where emotional mastery happens. It's taking one deep breath before replying to a passive-aggressive email. It's walking away from an argument for a few minutes to cool down before you say something you can't take back. In that pause, you give your rational mind a chance to catch up with your initial emotional flash. You can ask those Stoic questions. Does this align with my values? Is this in my control? Is my judgment about this actually true? This space allows you to shift from being a reactor, a puppet of your emotions, to a responder, a thoughtful person who acts with purpose. Seneca wrote that the best way to handle anger is to reject its very first spark. This pause is how you do that. You don't have to get rid of the feeling, but you don't have to obey its first command. Here is your actionable step. Try a technique straight from Marcus Aurelius: cognitive distancing. When a strong emotion hits, consciously tell yourself, "I am having the feeling of anger." This feeling is just an impression, not the event itself. I have power over my mind, not outside events. This simple statement creates the critical space you need to choose a wiser response. Rule 6. Embrace amor fati. Love your fate. And our final rule. This one is the toughest, no doubt, but it's also the most transformative. Amor fati, or a love of your fate. Now, this doesn't mean being passive or just wishing for things to happen. It means accepting whatever happens, good or bad, as the unchangeable reality of the moment, and choosing to see it as an opportunity. Marcus Aurelius put it beautifully. A fire turns everything thrown into it into its own flame and brightness. He believed that any obstacle can be turned into raw material for achieving your goal. Let's say you get fired. The default reaction is despair, anger, and fear. Amor fati is the mindset that says, okay, this happened. It's a fact. I can't change it. So, how can I use this? What does this now make possible? Maybe that job was a dead end, and this is the push you needed to find a new career. Maybe it's a chance to build resilience. The event itself isn't good or bad. Its value is determined by what you do with it. This is the ultimate Stoic alchemy, turning obstacles into fuel. That co-worker who stole your idea, you can silently thank them for the masterclass in vigilance and workplace strategy. The traffic jam? It's a surprise opportunity to listen to a podcast or just practice patience. When you embrace your fate, you become invincible, because every event, no matter how negative it seems, becomes a tool for your growth. Here is your actionable step. Try this tonight. Before you go to sleep, do a quick review of your day. Think about one thing that went wrong or didn't go your way. Instead of dwelling on the frustration, ask yourself 3 questions. What can I learn from this? How can this make me better? What opportunity has this created? This practice slowly rewires your brain to see the opportunity in every adversity. Look, mastering your emotions isn't a one-and-done deal. It's a lifelong practice. It's the daily moment-by-moment work of applying these 6 timeless rules. 1. Act according to your values, not your moods. 2. Focus only on what's in your control. 3. Cultivate inner tranquility. 4. Ask if your actions are necessary. 5. Pause between stimulus and response. 6. And finally, love your fate. These are not just clever ideas, they're a training system for your mind. The more you use them, the stronger your inner citadel will become. You'll find that you are not the victim of your emotions, but the calm and steady master of your own soul. You will discover, as the Stoics did, that the greatest power a person can ever have is power over themselves. If you want to keep building that inner fortress, subscribe for more practical philosophy for modern life. And I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, which of these rules are you going to try first? Every big change starts with one small step. Take yours.